I wanted to start this morning by just acknowledging the interesting state with which we are living right now. I'm assuming, because I'm assuming all of you are not living under rocks, that you are inundated with the same wildness of the world, the global impacts of decisions and fear and unknowingness that I am experiencing every single day. And it just seems to grow louder, and the fear is bigger and the unknownness is more widespread, and the questions are, there's way more questions than there are answers, and just keeping up with the changes and what's happening right in our world and in our jobs and in our services and so forth, and in those that we love and need voices. And to me, that continues to grow louder and louder, and it is on because of the algorithms of the internet. The more that I go searching for information or searching for anything like a recipe or anything else, I get more and more and more of the noise. And it's important knowing what's going on and staying up to date, and aligning that with my values and how I want to be with those things. That's all so remarkably important. And what I continue to remind myself of is that my physical, emotional, and mental health is my responsibility. I'm just going to pause to let that filter into your body, because I'm going to challenge you with the same thought. Your physical, emotional, and mental health is your responsibility. And there are things that we can control in terms of how we are engaging with it, the boundaries we're setting around it, what we're doing with it, how we're tending to it, how we're caring for it. Our mental, physical, and emotional health is our responsibility. So if we're waiting for somebody to give us permission to take the time to do the things, it's not coming. The burden of bad news here, but you all know it too. That's not coming. That's not built in. That's not part of our culture. Our culture is go and do and outcomes and performance, right? And what pays the price for that is our physical, emotional, and mental well-being. And so part of, I think, a good, solid mindfulness practice is allowing that to settle in and go, okay, what do I want to do with that? Because if I keep blaming culture, work, busyness, family for me not tending to those things, that's never going to change unless I change it. That self-awareness, right? To say, all of that will continue to happen and all of that will continue to grow if I don't carve out the rituals, the practices, the walks, the workouts, the breathing, the meditation, the time with good friends. If I don't make time for those things, if I don't create time for those things, they aren't coming. Nobody else is placing those in to the bucket for us. There's plenty of other things that'll be placed in there, but those things will not be. And so I hope that that settles in with you as a place of empowerment, as a place to consider, am I tending to myself? Am I putting on my own oxygen mask before tending to others? And if not, what's one tiny thing I can do to move that forward, to move the habit of self-care into my bucket of what I control and that I value and that I prioritize? With that, let's get into our practice. You can close your eyes or you can take a soft gaze. And just by being here, I know that you are prioritizing self care, prioritizing your well being, and understanding that we must put on our oxygen mask first. And so just begin with some gratitude to yourself for prioritizing this practice and this time. And then before we really get into deepening our breath and our body, I want you to just stay in this place for a moment and look through your mind's eye at the last 24 hours. And look for ways that you have prioritized your physical, mental, and emotional well being. Actively look. Places where you've paused before reacting, times you've set boundaries on your breaks and taken them fully. Times where you've reached out for connection, for love, for belonging in healthy ways. Times where you've said yes, and also times where you've said no. Both can be prioritization of well being. And perhaps you're finding it hard to think about a moment. And if that's so, just imagine what you could have done. Imagine moments where you could have introduced a practice. And then just thank yourself, honor yourself, celebrate yourself. Good job. Good job. I did that. And as you're saying good job and congratulating yourself, just give yourself a little reminder that you are not responsible for other people's, other adults' well being in the realms of physical, emotional, and mental, meaning that they get to have their responses. They get to feel however they're going to feel to you prioritizing well being. And your job is just to let them. Just let them. Okay, let's find our breath. Note it. Inhale and feel that experience. Exhale and be with that experience. Again, inhale, feel that process. And then exhale, being with that experience. And then, if you're able to, place your attention, again, that mind's eye, and it might even help to put a hand on your belly if you'd like, but in your belly, in your abdomen, where you feel your breath moving in and out. You can feel it with your hands, and or you can pay attention to it with your mind's eye. Placing your energy there and feeling your breath. And introducing curiosity to that process. So the focus isn't necessarily a hard laser focus. We can kind of open it up and just be curious about it. Things like, what do I feel as I inhale, physically, mentally, or emotionally? What do I feel as I inhale? What is my physical, mental, or emotional experience with a long exhalation? Where do I feel this most in my body? As I'm breathing this breath, what emotions are present for me? As I place my attention and energy, what do I need to hear from myself today? What words of wisdom, of love, of compassion do I need to give myself in this moment? And as we begin to close in these final breaths together, allowing each breath to be a reminder, I am responsible for my physical, mental, and emotional health. What will I do today to support that? If you had your hands on your belly, you can bring them down. Slowly opening your eyes and coming back together. Thank you. Thanks for being here, everyone. Take care, be well, and we'll see you next week. Keep breathing.